Man, look at this. Yo, welcome back to another episode of Action Figure Junkie. I am your host, 16 the Icon, aka Mr. Superhero Swag. Make sure you check me out on all your social medias. Go up to the link description and the channel description up top. And my Spotify is there. You can check out all the music. But today I decided to do MCU versus 616. That means the comic book universe versus the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I just wanted to let you know, give you some insight into why I collect comic book figures as opposed to the Marvel Cinematic Universe figures. There are figures that I have from the MCU, which is how I was able to do this video. But in the end, at the end of the day, the reason that I collect comic book figures over MCU figures, and this is just my personal thing, if you collect MCU figures, no diss to you at all. I personally like the comic book figures. Like, if you look at this comic book figure has a whole bunch of stuff going on for Venom that the other one just simply does not have. Notably, the symbol. Okay? The symbol. The half face, the additional head that shows the half face of Eddie Brock. Awesome. The tendrils coming off the shoulders. Awesome. The claws. Two sets of hands, so you got claws and fists, which I think this one had too. But this one is missing, of course, the symbol for obvious reasons. And then you got just the feet. The feet with the toes. I mean, it was their interpretation, so, but yeah, I would much rather have this Eddie Brock. Look at that, man. Look at that. Just the difference, man. I would much rather have this Eddie than this Eddie. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry, really. But that's just one of the problems. Now, this isn't really a problem because there are two completely different sexes. Okay, so when this was revealed to be a female, that was awesome in the movie to me. I thought that was dope. I liked the way they were able to incorporate his, his muscle memory skill thing that he has going on in the in the 616, to her being able to soak up everything through watching it on the video monitor in the visor. I thought that was dope. They kept the color scheme with the oranges and the blues and the white. I thought this was actually dope. And seeing the new face that they have in Thunderbolts for Taskmaster, which is supposed to be based off of the newer mask, and there's something that they're trying to do in China, because China is real weird when it comes to skulls for whatever reason, so they couldn't do anything to get closer to the comic accuracy of this. But just the muscle definition and everything, and this is the character that fought the Avengers and fought multiple heroes in the Marvel Universe in the books that I read when I was a kid. So this was a good interpretation, yes, and I dug it, and I bought the figure because I was like, man, that's a badass interpretation of so yeah, job well done. Yeah, job well done, because this was scary. This was modernized and scary. and I liked it, and it kept with the theme. It kept with the theme, so it was on point. Definitely dope. It was on point. Next up, I mean, Tatiana Maslany did an awesome job. The CGI was expensive, but we wanted the show, and Disney gave us the show. Marvel Studios gave us the show. There were problems with the show, yes, but the Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk twerking together was not one of the problems. That was actually a hilarious little addition, little add-in. But if you look at the figure, they both have horrible ab crunch, horrible torso articulation. They're both completely different, greens. One's more of a pastel, one's more of a brighter green. They both have the green highlights in the hair, both have the pretty face, the body, everything is going, cakes. Okay, so all of that's on point, and not being weird or anything, but for She-Hulk is a sexy character, so she has to have that sex appeal, which is why I said cake. Okay, but yeah, this is a better figure than this just because of the interpretation, but this is still a great figure, and the likeness to Tatiana Maslany is definitely on point. Definitely. So I dug that. Now, boom. Now, in WandaVision, she actually kind of wore that for a second. And, I mean, not bad. Elizabeth Olsen was not in bad shape to wear it, but certain things do not translate all that great on screen, or they don't really make that much of an effort, should I say, to translate them on screen. Because when you translate Wolverine's mask on screen and put him in the blue and yellow after over 20 years, it works, and you make over $1 billion, right? Okay, so all right, there you go. So yeah, Elizabeth Olsen did wear this in WandaVision for a quick time. They paid homage to it, and that's dope. But for what they were doing, and making it more real world of what someone would wear, I get it. And they kept the headdress. She pretty much, you can tell who she's supposed to be. You can tell who Elizabeth Olsen is supposed to be. It's pretty much the same character. So I give them credit for that. And there's at least, well, really, there's only one person in this whole thing that I will say the MCU version beats the 616 version. The 616 version, much like the Daredevil, the Daredevil interpretation in the MCU. This, man, if I believe if Moon Knight always looked like this with the mummy bandages, and I believe if he always looked like this, I would have read more Moon Knight comics. I think that the way they did this is 10 times better than the original version. 10 fit that I hands down, stomped it. Get it out of here. This is what we wanted. Well, definitely what I wanted. That is chef's kiss. So hats off to the MCU, hats off to Hasbro for bringing that straight off of Disney Plus into action figure form. Good job, guys. Hats off. Chef's kiss. And then right here, this was a good interpretation of, what they were trying to do. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that. So Wyatt Russell, good job bringing this to life. But I still like the comic book version better because, hey, West Coast Avengers, my comic books, man. My comic books. When you're going after nostalgia, you're going after the character that you saw in the book. This is what you're going for. So, but they do get really close. I mean, they do get really close. You got to give it to them on that. They do get really close with the interpretation. They do get really, really close. So moving right along, let's go to Bam. Bam. And you can see I got like a mess of figures over here. Some mess of figures. I've been filming all day. So Monica Rambeau. Monica Rambeau. See? So Tiana Paris did a good job in that role. And this is the MCU's interpretation of this outfit, which of course, you know, what can you do? It's more modernized. It's definitely something that the actress wanted to wear as opposed to, you know, wearing this. Tiana Paris was pregnant during the Marvels too, so she was not trying to wear something that revealing. And I think that they have a moment where she had these little arm wings in the film. I only watched the Marvels once because it was woof. Wasn't as bad as Madam Web, but woof. So yeah, definitely good interpretation, but I just like the comic book figures better, man. I just do. I just like the comic book figures better. And this right here cracked me up because this looks absolutely nothing. Rest in power. This looks absolutely nothing like Chadwick Boseman. It's hilarious. I have an alternate head for another Black Panther that I have that looks more like Chadwick Boseman, but fishing through the hundreds of figures that I have, I did not want to keep fishing. I wanted to get to filming, and so I used this one. And this is Blue Marvel's head actually on the Black Panther original, you know, first appearance Fantastic Four outfit with the cape to give you the T'Challa from the comics. But just the muscle definition and everything on the comic book figures is just way, way, way better. Like, we can keep going. We can keep going, man. We can keep going. Look at Bucky. Now, this is the Winter Soldier. Okay. This is the Winter Soldier. And then this. Bird chest. Super boxy builds on the MCU figures. The only thing that you get really good out of the MCU figures is the likeness on the head sculpt. That is about the best thing you're gonna get. And the design, you know, making the arm black instead of, you know, black with the gold instead of all silver. I mean, that's cool too, I guess, but like I said, this is who he was trying to be, so that's why I put the comic book guys first and the MCU guys second. Because this is the original and this is the stunt double. Oh man, I swear. I'm a comic book guy though, man, so don't get mad. I'm a comic book guy. Yep, I did this too. Yep. And for those that were not in the know, now you know that this is who Richard Madden was trying to be. Or who he was, yeah. And you're like, wait, he was supposed to be, yeah, he was supposed to be blind. Yeah. This is the Eternal that he actually was. And this figure, man, one of my favorite comic book accurate figures. Please bring us some more Eternals with this whole Jack Kirby style, man. So dope. So dope, man. Just Good job, everybody. Good job. Good job. Okay. Now, only got a couple more people to go, and then the video will be done. So I don't want to take up all of your day. But, no, I missed you guys. I know you guys might have been wondering what's been going on. I have been so super busy at work and so super busy recording and getting ready for this one show that I'm doing with Sincere Sinatra, opening up for 2 Chainz. So I've been super busy, but Stephen Strange. The idea to make the Eye of Agamotto, a necklace, that I dug that idea. The whole how they did Stephen Strange, with the robes and the cloak of levitation, how it moves it on its own, and I mean, dope, but based on this cat. And there are a few pictures that I had back in the day where, not really far back in the day, probably like last year, when I took the MCU actor head and put it on the comic accurate body, and that looks dope. It looks dope, bro. Like actually having the actor in the actual costume, bro. I might do a whole nother video on that because it's dope. It's dope, but try it at the house. Try it, fellas, ladies, everybody watching. Try it. Those head swaps. Be careful with the head swaps though, because sometimes the pegs will come loose, man, and it is a headache. And if you can't repair it, then you have to get the figure all over again, and it's a bad do. It is a bad do. Cersei. So the 2 Eternals that we have, although Cersei should be in a different outfit. This is her 90s outfit. She's in that 2-pack with Black Knight. Okay, so they both have their 90s outfits on, and that's when all of the Avengers had, leather jackets and belts. They were hip. And she looks like Courtney Cox. Monica from Friends. I don't know how they did this head sculpt, but she looks like she's in a Bruce Springsteen video in the crowd. But yeah, not bad for the interpretation. And I mean, the way that they did the Eternals, I liked the Eternals. The only thing I didn't like about the Eternals was the whole thing, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, you don't know what rock you've been under, but the only thing that messed me up was that they're robots. Like, dude, stop it. That killed everything for me. They were robots. Like, come on, dude. Just have them be immortal for the right reason, that they're just immortal. Just lean into the source material. Don't try and do your own interpretation away from the. We don't care about your interpretation. We want you to play in the sandbox that you were given and do what you do. That's a whole nother rant for Star Wars and Leslie Headland and the Acolyte and all this other stuff that Disney is doing, not giving us exactly what we want, giving us their interpretation with their agenda. And then this one, I guess you could say, was the number one, blasphemy, was to have Thor have absolutely no real muscle when Chris Hemsworth was like a muscled fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chris Hemsworth was huge, bro. Like, his back was massive in Ragnarok. And so when they do the action figure, they scale him down to this skinny MCU version that they do of all the heroes, which quite frankly pisses me off, which is why I like the comic book figures, because of the muscle definition and the actual looks like a superhero of it all, As soon as I gave you the beard version, and they're the beard version, so you can see. The one thing that they did get right because for just the last thing for the video is that this is actually Stormbreaker. In the comics, this is Stormbreaker. This is Beta Ray Bill's hammer, and this is Stormbreaker. If you watched Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, you saw that Beta Ray Bill episode, and you saw that Odin blessed Beta Ray Bill with his own hammer, and yeah, okay. But this interpretation of Stormbreaker, bro, good job. That was so dope. And that the handle is like, you know, a piece of Groot's body. You know what I'm saying? It's like a living piece. Bro, that was dope. That was dope. So there are things that the MCU did and that the MCU has as part of their figures that is dope. You know, certain designs and ideas went there, was right on point. But just to answer the question, this is why I prefer comic book figures over Marvel Cinematic Universe figures. Yep. So, just to answer your question. And thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time, peace.